Hey, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. We are going to talk a little bit about what the Corvette did to me not too long ago and the headache that it caused me. Now, it was something that was actually a pretty easy fix, and it revolved around something that is actually supposed to make my life easier, and that is the keyless entry. Now, obviously I have push button start. I have a key on here that can get into the trunk, but when I walk up to the vehicle like this, I should be able to just open the door. Easy enough. Most of you are already familiar with what keyless entry is. Now, that is because the key is in my pocket. Now, if I put the key over here, you actually hear it lock. I now, just some random person, cannot just open the door. So, using that key, I'm gonna grab it one more time. Obviously, I can get in the vehicle, but something happened that I never expected. Again, technology is supposed to be what is making your life simpler, but it has its faults, and everybody knows that. And I found with the Corvette, and at least the C6 version, I don't know if this is particular for other versions, but it has a fault with this keyless entry, and that is I came back one day and I was golfing and I actually opened up the trunk, the rear lid, and again I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it, and I put my golf clubs in. Without thinking about it, I had set my keys at the back end of the trunk, and at that precise moment I closed my lid, and before I actually walked around, the car locked. I didn't think much of it. I went to go open the handle, and it would not open. And of course, the keys were not in my pocket. And it took me a second to realize I've left them in the trunk. Now, it shouldn't be able to lock itself with the keyless entry, with these keys in the car. That's a huge, obviously, flaw. Well, it must have been that my keys were far enough away from the point that detects these in the back, and maybe it could have been that my golf clubs were blocking kind of the signal, but it was enough that it locked my car with the keys inside. And again, it was a huge kind of headache. I was over 20 minutes away. I had to have my fiance actually come and bring the keys to me, my second set of keys. If I didn't have a second set or any, it would have been even that much more of a headache. But I was really shocked. But I was curious if any of you guys have ever had that problem, or if maybe it's just I that happen to have this particular problem. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna test and see if I can't actually have the same thing happen. So I'm gonna walk over here really quick and I'm gonna pop the back of the trunk and I'm gonna set these in the back. Luckily, of course, I have a second set of keys in case this does actually work. I'm hoping it does. It probably should. And we'll go from there. So let's see if it locks. Okay, I didn't hear it lock, but I guess it was already locked. I just used it to open the rear hatch, and it is locked. I can no longer access the vehicle, which obviously presents a huge problem. So, keys are in the vehicle, and I have no way to get in them. This is exactly what happened. So I thought I'd make this kind of fun video for you guys to see the issue that I had, and something that I don't know how to keep that from happening. I've found that it's very easy for me, and maybe each person's different. Maybe it's just because I have a problem with this. But a lot of times when I get into the trunk, I'm known to have my key in my hand. I open the trunk, and for some reason, it's a bad habit, but I set it down. Well, again, I should be safe because the sensor should pick up that the key is in the car. But again, it is not. So I'm actually going to unlock the car real quick with my second set of keys. And I'm gonna retrieve the back. And there they are. So again, just kind of curious. It's one of those things that I found kind of one of those flaws in the system. Now, not that the Corvette is not without its faults. It certainly is. There are some problems, but I love it to death. I happen to find this very interesting because it's something that could pose a problem. So I always keep my second set of keys in a safe so that it's hopefully not too far from me. But if I'm ever on a road trip and I was to do this, I think maybe there's something GM can do through the whatever OnStar or whatever it is. I'm not sure. I've never tried that. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining me on today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I appreciate it. Take care.